So we're in chapter 4, moving on to Protozoa. So as we talk about Protozoa, the name comes from the Greek for the first animals. About 12,000 species of single-celled creatures are Protozoa. Most are harmless, free-living inhabitants of water and soil. There are a few that cause disease or that are pathogens. So these are single-celled organisms containing all the major eukaryotic organelles. So in other words, they're similar to us, or our cells. The cytoplasm has two parts, the ectoplasm and the endoplasm. So ecto is the outer layer, endo is the inner layer. Form and function. Some organelles act as primitive nervous system to coordinate movement. They can move through fluids by means of pseudopods or those false feet, if you think about an amoeba, that's what we're talking about with the false feet. But so cell membrane regulates the food wastes and secretions. The cell shape can remain constant, as in most ciliates, or it will change, such as in amoebas. So nutritional and habitat range. So protozoans are heterotrophic. They require food in a complex organic form. They are free-living species, and they scavenge dead plant or animal debris or graze on bacteria and algae. Some have special feeding structures such as oral grooves, and some absorb food directly through the cell membrane. Now, pathogenic species may live on the fluids of their host, such as plasma and digestive juices, or they can actively feed on tissues. The main limiting factor is for protozoans is moisture, so they require moisture of some sort to survive. Their predominant habitats are fresh and marine water, soil, plants, and animals. They can survive in extremes of temperature and also pH. So the life cycles of the trophozoite and the cyst. So the trophozoite is the motile feeding stage requiring lots of food and moisture. And then the cyst is that dormant kind of, I don't want to say it's non-living, but it's more like a resting stage when conditions are unfavorable. So it kind of goes into its own little private shell to survive. The cyst form is resistant to heat and drying and chemicals, and the cysts can be dispersed by air currents. The important factors in the spread of disease are cysts. So cysts are the main culprit or the factors that contribute to the spread of disease. So there's the life cycle of the protozoa. I'm not going to make you necessarily spit this out at me, but it's interesting when you start to learn about these things. So life cycles, some protozoan groups exist only in the trophozoite phase. Some will alternate between the trophozoite and the cyst stage, and that all depends on the habitat. Trichomonas vaginalis is a common STD found in humans and does not form cysts. It is transmitted specifically through intimate contact. And actually, if you look up a video on Trichomonas vaginalis under the microscope, it's a silly looking little critter, I'll tell you that, under the microscope. I always felt like I wanted to ring a bell anytime we found a positive Trichomonas specimen. A lot of times we'll find it in urine just by chance and report it to, it would be through the ER, and then the ER would order further testing to confirm that, in fact, that person had Trichomonas vaginalis, which, of course, like I said, is an STD. Entamoeba histolytica and Giardia lamblia can be in the cysts form and are transmitted through contaminated water and foods. So never a good day when you get one of those. So all protozoans reproduce by relatively simple asexual mitotic cell division or multiple fission. Sexual reproduction also occurs in many of the protozoa, ciliates participate in conjugation, in which two cells fuse and exchange the micronuclei. This results in a new and different genetic combination that can be stronger than the previous one. So here are some pathogenic protozoas. There's two tables here. I'm going back and forth between those two tables. So I would say keep this as a reference because I will possibly ask questions about these guys on the test. Some of them are, things that most of you are going to be nurses. So, it's good to know, the cause of malaria and how we get those things. So you can see here, Entamoeba histolytica. It can be caught from humans, water, and food. Giardia, animals, water, and food. Trichomonas vaginala, human to human. Animals and vector-borne for some of these others. So just have these as a reference. I wouldn't necessarily memorize them, but just kind of reviewing them once and then keeping them as a reference for the test is helpful. The Helminths will be this last installment of this chapter. So I'll cut this out here and we'll start out with Helminths in the last part.